All right, let's talk about the ultimate good problem to have. You get an unexpected, say, $10,000 bonus. Awesome, right? But then, almost immediately, the big question hits. Do you use it to attack that nagging debt, or do you put it to work in the market? So what's the right move? Let's break down not just the math, but the mindset to find the real answer for you.
So let's meet Maya and Leo. They are in the exact same boat. Both just got a surprise 10 grand bonus. But they're looking at two totally different destinations. Maya, she's staring down a chunk of student loans with a 5% interest rate. She's wondering, should I just wipe this thing out? Leo, on the other hand, he's feeling that pull of the stock market, you know? He wants to know if now's the time to go all in. So we've got the same money, but two very different paths.
Now, before we even think about touching a calculator, we have to acknowledge what makes this decision so tough. It's because you're not just making a financial choice, you're basically fighting a psychological battle against yourself.
Yeah, this whole conflict, it really boils down to two competing fears, or as I like to call them, dragons. On one shoulder, you've got the fear dragon. This is your debt. It breathes fire every single month in the form of interest payments, making you feel like you're constantly under attack. Paying it down is like raising a defensive shield. But then, on the other shoulder, you have the FOMO dragon, the fear of missing out. And this one gets fed by headlines about market highs and stories of your friends getting rich. Not investing feels like you're just leaving free money on the table. So which dragon do you slay first?
Well, to decide which dragon to take on, we need a weapon. And in finance, the most powerful weapon we have is cold, hard math. It just cuts right through all the emotional noise and gives us a clear strategy.
So, here's the rule, and it's brutally simple. If your debt's interest rate is higher than the realistic return you can expect from your investments, you should always pay off the debt first. That's it. It's a simple comparison, but it is the absolute foundation of a smart financial decision.
Okay, so what's a realistic return? Well, you'll hear that historically, the S&P 500 has returned about 10% a year, and that's true, but we have to account for inflation, which, eats away at our gains. So after inflation, a much more conservative, long-term expectation is around 7%. This 7% right here, this is our benchmark. It's the number we're going to weigh everything against.
So, let's see how that 7% benchmark plays out in the real world. In scenario A, you've got credit card debt at a whopping 22% APR. If you invest your 10 grand, you might make 7%, or about $700. But that debt is going to cost you $2,200 in interest. That's a net loss of $1,500. So the verdict is crystal clear. Pay the debt. But now look at scenario B. Here, the debt is a student loan at 4.5%. Well, that potential 7% gain from investing easily outweighs the 4.5% cost of the debt. Here, the math says invest.
Let this one really sink in for a second. Paying off high-interest debt isn't just an expense, it's an investment, and it's a guaranteed, tax-free return of whatever that interest rate is. I mean, you will not find a deal that good anywhere else, period. It is the safest, most profitable financial move you can possibly make.
Okay, so the math seems pretty black and white, right? But we all know that personal finance is always more personal than it is finance. This is where the spreadsheet ends and your own psychology really begins.
You have to be brutally honest with yourself here. That 7% average return we talked about, it doesn't come in a nice, neat, straight line. The market is a roller coaster. There will be years it's up 20% and years it's down 15%. So if seeing your $10,000 temporarily become $8,500 would make you completely panic and sell at the worst possible time, then that perfect on-paper investment plan is actually worthless for you. In that case, the guaranteed return of being debt-free is so much more valuable, even if the interest rate is technically low.
And that brings us to this key concept, psychological profit. This isn't something you can calculate in Excel, but man, is it real? It's that feeling of freedom you get when you don't have a car payment hanging over your head anymore. It's the stress that just melts away from knowing you own your life free and clear. That peace of mind has immense value.
This quote from Morgan Housel just nails it, doesn't it? What are we really chasing with money? For most of us, it's freedom. It's having options. And sometimes paying off a debt, even a so-called low-interest one, is a direct purchase of that freedom. It just simplifies your life and opens up your choices.
So if it's not just about math, and it's not just about feelings, what in the world is the answer? Well, the good news is this isn't an all-or-nothing choice. You can, and you probably should, do both.
So here's a practical framework that works.
This 4-step plan is your roadmap. Step 1, always get your full employer match in your 401k. I mean, it's a 100% return on your money. It's free money. Don't leave that on the table. Step 2, destroy any high-interest debt, anything over 8%. We're talking credit cards here. Throw every penny you have at it. Step 3, for your good debt, like mortgages or student loans under that 7% benchmark, just automate the regular payments, set it and forget it. Don't stress. And finally, step 4, every single dollar left over after that, that's what you invest. And you invest it aggressively for the long term.
So let's bring this all home. How does this framework help our friends Maya and Leo find their own right answers? Remember Maya. Her student loan was at 5%, which is below our 7% investment benchmark. So the math said to invest. But she also really wanted that psychological profit of seeing her loan balance shrink. So what did she do? She chose a hybrid approach. She invested the majority, 80%, to capitalize on that potential growth. But she also put 20% toward her debt just for that immediate peace of mind. A perfect blend of math and mindset.
And then you've got Leo. Our framework made him look a little closer at his finances, and you know what he found? A forgotten credit card with a toxic 19% interest rate. Oof. For him, the choice became instantly clear. Slaying that high-interest fear dragon was, without a doubt, the most profitable move he could make. He used the entire bonus to just completely wipe it out.
And that's really what this all boils down to. The goal isn't just about having the biggest possible number in your investment account. It's about designing a financial life that gives you more freedom, more options, and a whole lot less stress. And you get there by starting with the math, but finishing with a plan that actually lets you sleep soundly at night.
So now, it's your turn. You have the tools to fight both the fear dragon and the FOMO dragon. You have the framework to analyze your own situation. So the only question left is, what's your next move going to be?